Hey everyone, Rich here from Stoner Car Care. We're here in the Cybertruck and we've seen a bunch of videos online of these things, but no one's been really showing yet how to clean up the interior properly. And there's a couple important steps to make sure you're doing this effectively. I think it's no surprise to many how large this windshield is. There's a couple tricks of the trade that are gonna make sure you get that clean the right way the first time. Then we're also gonna go around the interior, show you how to handle some of these specialized surfaces and the best way to clean those. So stick along with us today as we cover this. All right, so normally we clean the windshield last after doing all the cleaning. But let's be honest, you clicked on this video to see how to clean a windshield, especially the one on the Cybertruck. And also, the nice part about the Cybertruck dashboard is a lot of it's fabric. So there's not too much we have to do as far as dressing. So I'm not too worried about getting overspray on here. So there's a couple quick tools that are gonna make this a lot easier for you. First thing, you're gonna need a good glass cleaner. We'd highly suggest trying out invisible glass. You have an aerosol and trigger sprayers. Next, if you haven't seen a reach and clean tool, these work great for getting access to all those areas. Whatever you can't reach, you can't clean. So having something like this will give you that access you need to be able to clean and scrub that windshield clean the first time without breaking your back or leaning over. So this extra long dashboard, this is 40 inches long. So this is, normally on a car you would have maybe 20-inch long dashboard. It's not too much of a problem to reach down in there. With this one being so long, I couldn't reach down in there even if I'm laying on the dashboard. So you have the reach and clean tool, but we also have extension handles that you can put on the bottom of here. Now this is a universal thread, so you can put a broomstick on the bottom of here and clean it from back there if you'd like. But this seems to be a little bit more convenient, has a nice cushion handle, screw that onto there, and now we have a nice long stick that we can use to go in, scrub that windshield clean. So there's a couple ways of going about doing this. So first things first, you wanna make sure you're in the passenger side of the vehicle so you're not dealing with the steering wheel. Now, it's typically a bigger issue in a lot of other vehicles when they have the round steering wheel. This one has a flat top to it, so you have a little bit more access, but you're not gonna have as much access as you would on the passenger side here. If you're doing it with the door shut, make sure the window's down. That way you have room for your elbow to kind of come back through there. Make sure you have all the obstructions out of the way. On the Cybertruck here, it has this visor. It's magnetic on the towards the inside of the vehicle, so you just pull that back, pull it over. That way we have access to the full glass and we're not working our way around that. We're gonna have the reach and clean tool here, and you can start off however you feel comfortable doing it. You can spray it directly on the glass, or you can spray it right on this reach and clean bonnet, and then you can apply the glass cleaner that way. I prefer to spray it on the glass here because this is a newer vehicle and it has a lot of that off-gassing on the glass. So you typically need a good amount of glass cleaner to be able to remove that off-gassing film that's on those windshields. So we're gonna go ahead, spray it on here, get this thing cleaned up. So first things first, I'm gonna spray it directly on the windshield here. We're only gonna do half at a time. Usually with a reach and clean tool, you can do the whole thing. You can reach into the farthest corners as you need to. But since there's so much glass here, it's gonna start evaporating off as you're using it. And because it's so heavily soiled, we're gonna focus on half of the time here and just go from there. So I'll put the glass cleaner on. The nice part about the aerosol is you don't get a ton of overspray and you can reach the farthest corners with ease. So now we got a good amount of glass cleaner on there. So with a reach and clean tool, you wanna put the widest end towards the hood of the car, and you're gonna work that product down in to the farthest points of the windshield. You see with the reach and clean tool, I have perfect access to this. Whereas if I had just a microfiber, I'd probably only be able to reach not quite all the way down to the bottom. And nothing screams, nothing's more frustrating when you're 5 o'clock on the highway and you missed part of cleaning the windshield, and then that's all you can see when you're driving. So you're gonna drive this product down through there. And because we use so much glass cleaner, the bonnet's getting pretty saturated with glass cleaner here. So what we're gonna do is swap out the bonnet for a drier one after we're done scrubbing. We're gonna give us a good scrub because of all of that off-gassing that was on the window. And get up to here. Typically it's a one-hand job, but how long this handle is and how wide this windshield is, we're gonna use two. All right, one final polish with it. Let's get all the lines straight. Then we're gonna swap this bonnet over. It's nice, quick. Peel it off. Put a new one back on here. Put it on the top, work it over to the bottom, like so. And you wanna try and get this before anything starts to dry, because anything left wet is what's gonna leave a streak. So, scrub that thoroughly here. A couple of quick tips when you're using a reach and clean tool. The farther away you are from the windshield, the more pressure it's gonna give, the more scrubbing ability you're gonna have, the more even you are with the windshield and the angle, the better it's gonna glide for you. So if it's pretty grabby for you, just put your arm more like the angle of the windshield and it should slide nice and easy for you. Versus when it's like this, you can see it's pretty grabby. All right, now for the interesting side, we have the driver's side. There's a little bit more of a reach, so we put another extension handle onto here. Just like the passenger side, we're gonna spray some invisible glass cleaner on there, and we'll go at it with the reach and clean tool. That's why I really like the aerosol, because it has a great spray pattern that you're not worried about overspraying other areas that you've already done. So, put the flat part down again. So now we're gonna clean up the interior of this Tesla Cybertruck. It has like a vegan leather to this. It's not like a regular leather you're used to. So it's something you wanna keep in mind when you're wiping this stuff down. We suggest using a Power Clean interior detailer. What's nice about this is it's gonna apply a UV protectant, get it nice and supple, clean it up well, but it's not gonna leave it super shiny. It's gonna leave more of a matte satin finish to it that's gonna really resemble the OEM look of this vehicle. So typically we'll just spray this on a microfiber, and then you just wipe down the surfaces you're trying to wipe. It's not rocket science to this. If it's a real shiny area, I'll usually just flip to a dry side and just kind of knock that down. All right, so now wipe down this center console. Again, not rocket science here, just wipe it down. Kind of get it to blend nicely. Flip it over to dry side, knock down that. And now if you look up in here, it has like a suede finish to it. So you kind of want to be careful. You don't want to get that kind of stuff too wet. So I'll typically just have a damp microfiber and just, you kind of see, just scrub those areas with a damp microfiber, kind of fluff up those little fibers. You see I took off that mark off of that one. It kind of pulls the dust out of this as well. So the drier you can kind of keep something like that, the better off you're going to be. So Power Clean, it does have some surfactants in there that are going to help you clean. And it has also an anti-static, so it'll help it stay clean longer. It's not gonna be attracting a bunch of dust to whatever surface you're cleaning. So you've probably seen that many times. You dress the car up with like one of those silicone dressings, and if your windows are down when you're driving past a construction site, all that dust just goes and sticks to every part of the surface that you had dressed. Well, you don't have to worry about with this. It's not gonna be sticky, it's not gonna be shiny. It just leaves a nice OEM finish behind. So you notice this part of the dashboard, it's all white. Again, we're gonna clean that with Power Clean because this thing has 1,000 miles on it. It's pretty clean. If that were to get soiled pretty badly, you could use like a mild all-purpose cleaner. It would shine that up pretty well for you. But this one's already pretty clean, so we're just gonna apply that UV protection, that anti-static, just something to make sure that we're protecting this in the long term. All right, so now for caring for the seats in the Cybertruck. They're not too different from any other seats in terms of care for them. This is vegan leather, which is essentially just, they're polyurethane. So what we're gonna do is use our leather cleaner and conditioner that we have. For the perforated areas, I'm gonna spray it on the towel first, wipe it on. And then for the parts that aren't perforated, you can spray it directly on the leather if you have something that you're trying to clean with that as well. So I'll show you kind of the difference with each. You spray it right on with that, work that into the leather. And what this gonna do is, clean the leather. So if there's any kind of gunk or dust or anything like that, it obviously cleans that off. But it's also gonna condition it and make sure it has some kind of UV protection to it. So when if you look at the sunroof of this thing, it's all glass. So there's gonna be quite a few sun rays and high temperatures coming into this vehicle that can dry out these materials over time. So by keeping up with it, with the leather cleaner and conditioner, you're making sure it has all the necessary oils in that leather and in those materials to make sure that it's not cracking over time. So then we're doing the spots that are perforated. We'll spray it right on the microfiber towel here. Like that. Just gonna work it in. The reason why we're spraying on the microfiber first is because we really don't want it to get into the perforations. Now, of course, there will be a little bit, but if we can avoid that, that's better than just spraying it directly on and filling each one of those perforations with some kind of leather cleaner. All right, so that's all there is to it for cleaning the interior of the Cybertruck. Besides that big old windshield, there's really not too much different to it. Let us know down in the comments below how many times it took you to clean that windshield before you had a reach and clean tool. Thanks for joining us in this one. We'll see you in the next one.